Welcome.
Welcome, small group leaders.
Next installment, small group training videos.
Take two. Take one.
Take one of take two.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Well, so in this video, we're going to talk about a book. It's called The Emotionally Healthy Church. And this book has been really helpful to the leadership of our church. The elders have gone through this book. It was so good that we thought it would be great for the small group leaders to go through it as well. So Lucas and I are just going to go through and we're going to summarize each little chapter in each one of these little videos. And today we're going to summarize the first little section in the book. So the Emotionally Healthy Church, it's written by a guy named Peter Scazzaro.
Scazzaro. It's Italian.
Scazzaro. And so he writes this book out of his own experience. So Peter Scazzaro, he's a leader of a big church in New York City. And he found that he while he was really good at leading the church, he was excelling in preaching and leadership and Bible knowledge and leading meetings and all that sort of thing. He was really excelling in all of that. But at the same time, he found that he was also extremely emotionally unhealthy. And so he was depressed. He was angry, had all this pent-up anger. He was stressed out all the time. He was on the edge of burnout all the time. And so he found that although he had lots of skills, lots of knowledge, he also was very emotionally unhealthy.
Here's the main idea of the book, and he's trying to fix this issue. So here's what Scazzaro says. He says that there is something fundamental missing in the way that we disciple people in the church. Usually when we look at discipleship, we look at imparting either spiritual or biblical knowledge or discipleship skills like going and doing a project or evangelizing. But often what we miss in discipleship, we are missing the emotional or holistic health of someone. And so what ends up happening is you have a lot of biblical knowledge. You have a lot of, so for instance, for people in ministry like Brent or me, you can get up there and preach a sermon, lead worship. You can take somebody through a Bible study, but you struggle with stress or anxiety or anger or bitterness, or you're just a pain to be around. You're stubborn, or even you're physically unhealthy. You don't take care of your body. What he's noticing here is that you're focusing on one aspect of the entire person.
He even makes this is a quote from the book. He says, "It is impossible for a Christian to be spiritually mature while remaining emotionally immature," which I thought was a great little quote. And then he has these little kind of a description of what this might look like in a church that's unhealthy. He says you can memorize entire books of the New Testament and still be unaware of your depression and anger, even displacing it on other people. Or he says you can fast and pray half a day a week for years as a spiritual discipline and constantly be critical of others, justifying it as discernment. He says you can lead hundreds of people in a Christian ministry while driven by a deep personal need to compensate for a nagging sense of failure. So the task, he says, again, of leaders in the church, small group leaders in the church, pastoral leaders in the church, is to help people move down a path of not just skills and knowledge, but also emotional maturity.
And the rationale of that is, of course, not only did God create us as holistic people, right? He created us as body and soul, but He redeems us as holistic people. So you can think of the reality of the incarnation means that God doesn't just want to redeem our soul, but He wants to redeem our bodies as well as the physical world, which means that our minds, our bodies, our emotions, every bit of our life is meant to be redeemed by God and renewed and healthy.
That's right. So we as human beings are integrated people,
yeah.
Body, soul, and spirit. And so redemption involves kind of redeeming every aspect of who we are.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which, in order to get you started on this, we are going to attach to the email a little emotional health quiz you can take, and it will help you evaluate your own emotional health. So you'll see that attached to this email that you're getting. And so we would encourage you, just as leaders, to go through it and
be honest.
Be honest.
Yeah.
and see how emotionally healthy you are. And then the next video, what we'll do is we'll look at ways that we could actually grow ourselves and help others grow in emotional health.
Cut.